Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So these are 8x4 garden beds with 6x8 pressure treated lumber. Each one was 8 feet long, and the reason why I went big and bulky like this is so that it matches the wall over here. So you can see this goes all the way down and all the way down the inside. So this is a rental property here that I work at. The other house I work at below is down below. So what I'm going to do here now, a lot of people will say, you know, oh, that's too big, too bulky, but it's a style, it's a look, it's something that will last a very, very long time. You don't have to worry about warping or anything like that. If you use 4x4s or 2x6s or 2x8s, you'll have that kind of problem. As you can see, the sun starts coming over, and it'll come up and over and go that way. So all this will be sun. I put the vines will be growing on these posts over here, or at least on this side, so that way it doesn't block. If I put it over here, it would end up blocking the sun from all the other vegetables in the front. On this side, I'm going to run the drip pipe underneath before I start filling this full of dirt. Those are 8-inch. I could have gone 6-inch, but they didn't have it, so it's a 8-inch, half-inch, 8x1/2. There you go, with the washer. I also put in 2 screws there and 2 screws down at the bottom. Those are 4-inch screws, just to help hold it a little bit. I am also going 11.5 inches from the bottom of the 4x4 coming up to there. Now when you do this, do the first one 11.5, and then before you screw in this one, you want to make sure that the top is going to be level. So do what I did here. Get another 4x4 and put it across the top and make sure it's level, because every one of these 4x4s is not exactly the same length when you buy it at the store. So to keep in mind when you do that. So you can make the mark there and put it there, but it's not always going to be the same at the top. And I'd recommend, because these can warp, even these 4x4s in the sun and the rain, you know, stuff like that. So it's good to put a post across the top. Now what I'm going to do here, which I like to do, is now that I have those posts, I want to connect another one going from there to there and then here to here. This is pretty high. This is, let me stand right here. Yeah, it's about, it sounds like a big helicopter. Oh wow, look at that. That's cool. The Air Force. Always see some cool stuff being way up here. That's a good 7-8 feet high, and it won't hit my head. And for these guys here, when I built them, I didn't put any nails on the top like we did here. See, we put the big nails in the top, because this is not really holding a lot of dirt, and there's not going to be a lot of pressure. It's more for look. So I put all the screws, the 4-inch screws, I just put them all on the inside. They're going along the sides, and then I just use a stake there to hold that on the edge, because this is the deeper end. This side over here will be in the dirt a little bit. This side will not be in the dirt, so that's why I added the stakes on that side, because the hill is sloping down that way. It's $1,500 for the wood, and these are 3 of them, two levels high. And for just the lumber, and then the 4x4s, the bolts, the screws. This is what I'm going to be using for the grapes to grow up. This was at Lowe's, and this I'm actually going to be putting on the ground before I put in all the soil to keep the gophers from coming up underneath. That plus all the drip system stuff was about another $1,000, so we're close to $3,000 right now for this, and that includes all the soil. I got 75 bags of this soil. Now this is the soil you want to get. You want to get raised bed soil, so you can put it straight into here. You don't have to mix it. You can, if you have dirt available. I wouldn't recommend going on Craigslist and trying to get free dirt, because you don't know what's in it. This, you know what's in it. It's 100% organic. and you don't have to mix it, just like the bag says. Just throw it right in there. So I'm assuming that it will take about 75 bags, 25 each, but we'll see. And then because you can also get mixed. These are about $9 each. It's cheaper if you get raised bed mix for gardens, but then you can't just dump it in here. You have to mix it with other soil, like actual real soil. Alright guys, so there is the finished product. I just need to fill it up some more all the way. You can see here, and this is nice and clean, and keep animals, critters from coming up from underneath. Looks good. There's a drip. I'm working on the garden bed again, trying to finish it today. I added a 5-foot piece across. This will help strengthen it. It will also allow hanging baskets or lights, whatever I want to put hanging off of that. And you can also have your vines growing up and going across, you know, across to the other side, whatever you want to do. But that's a nice little touch to kind of cap it all off. Now there's bolts on top of the first row of the 4x4s there. So what I did was I took the 4x4 and I set it on top, and then I hit it with a hammer to make the marks of where they are. And then I used a 1-inch, because I want to make them a little bit bigger than the bolt, so I have a little bit of room to move around. So I had a 1-inch, and then I just get it in there, not too far, maybe 1/8 of an inch deep into there. Same with that one over there. And then go ahead and lay it on top, and that way the bolts are covered, and you won't have a bunch of water sitting inside if you were to have the bolts inside the hole like that. So wiring is up and nice and clean. This is why it's important to have your post level, because otherwise your squares will not be even. I did cut all the edges so that it wasn't hanging out to the side. You can see that one too, also nice and clean. So again, all the vines are going to cover all this up eventually, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I do like to have things done really well and look nice and clean even from the very beginning. So and then these are the little nails that I used. These are the 3/4. What I did was I put the first one in the middle, and then I go every other for the top one, and then I go every 3, and I actually nail it into these 4 instead of right there, so it kind of grabs all of them. And then go down about that far, and then go to the next side. Now when you go to the next side, finish up the top ones, and then when you start coming down to this side, give it a slight pull, and then nail it in. That way it'll keep it nice and tight. Alright guys, so it's coming along nicely. So I have all the drip pretty much done. I'm not going to be using drip, but I am using part of the system. So I'm going to flush these out before I bend the ends off, and then use electrical tape to wrap around to close those off after I flush them out. You can see I went down here, through there, up and out, and then it goes across, and then back down that one, through, up and out, and then down this one. This one actually hugs the side all the way around, and it comes through here to right here. So this whole area used to be grass. So what I did was I capped off a sprinkler that was over there, and then then I was able to use just this one sprinkler that was left over, and I was able to put a riser with a little bit of a flex tube on there. So if this ever gets kicked, you can see it will have a little bit of room to move around, with the pressure regulator and the filter on there. I use these 3/4. These are the 3/4 pieces that I used for this, to attach to the pipe, as well as some screws. I wanted it to be loose. I didn't want it to be too tight, because so I can grab the pipe and poke a hole in it, because I need to put these little guys in there. And what I want to do here is I want to be able to stake them and move them around, and that's why I went with these instead of pop-up sprinklers, because as you need to change the plants around depending on the time of year, you can move those around left and right and adjust them and stuff like that. So this is a great way to use for the garden, because you want to be able to not spray too much of the wood, but also be able to spray all the plants, and be able to move that around depending on how high the plants get and stuff like that. So, and then I also have some lighting. The lighting I'm working on too, so you can see I put the wire under there. This wire is going to go up this 4x4 and across here. I'm going to drill a hole there and drill a hole there for some lights to hang. The wire is going to go all the way down here along the side of the wall, and it's going to go to a transformer that I have over there. Alright guys, so garden bed is just about finished. The two lights are actually on right now, but yep, the plants are in, except for probably going to do some blueberries and some grapes on the edges right there. Everything else is planted. So, and then I just have to run the sprinkler from the pipe that I put here. I just have to run the little sprayers to spray on all the plants. So this is day 2 of the garden bed. Everything's looking pretty good. It's growing nicely. It's only day 2 obviously, so, but I can definitely tell that they've already grown a little bit. So what I want to show you is little sprayers. So these little sprayers, this is all one piece. It's not like ones at Home Depot or Lowe's where it has it's almost like a pencil that clamps onto a little C-shape piece right here, which can cause it to fall off. That's why I like these a lot better. This rubber here is also very flexible. It's not as stiff as some of the other ones. It does have adjustable, and the top rotates, so that makes it easy to be able to move it around. Now I just did the 4 corners, but as things grow, because I have the brown tubing on the inside that goes all the way around, I can add one in the middle if need be later. So you can see here I put it in there like this. I put 3 stakes. Make sure that this one comes straight out. They do sell little 45 pieces or 90 degree pieces that you can use if you don't have a lot of room. These are actually straights, so you can put in a 90 degree piece and then cut this off and then connect it to the 90 degree, so the tubing will go straight this way or straight that way instead of coming out like this. But you don't want it to be bent, otherwise water might spray out the side if it's not straight. You definitely use a tool like this. This is one of the better ones. It punches a hole in it but doesn't go all the way through. You want something like this so that it will fit perfectly with that size and these won't pop out. That's that for the watering. I got the blueberries, the grapes, and the blackberries over there. So when things start growing, I'm going to have to start covering this up with a netting, because there's a lot of birds around here and they're going to definitely go after this stuff.